Hello YouTube, I've been promising you for quite a while, so I thought I'd better deliver. I'm going to show you what I've kind of learned over a little more than 30 years of detailing cars now. Obviously I'm not a professional auto detailer by trade, but I started detailing cars when I started driving and just started picking up things over the years, and I like to think I'm pretty good at it. If you see my cars in the videos, they're usually pretty clean and shiny. But today's video we're talking about when you first get a used car, like a police auction car or something, and you kind of want to do a little restorative detail on it. Usually if you're buying a police car, chances are it's only been through automatic car washes, probably exposed to sun, every hour of the day that the sun is out, probably been exposed to rain and other harsh conditions. So the finish that you get on the car is probably pretty rough. And what I mean is, if you run the back of your hand over it, there'll be a lot of resistance, whereas when you're done with what I'm going to show you, your hand will slide across without any resistance. And that's kind of how I gauge whether the car is properly detailed or not. So the first thing you want to do is the clay bar, and that will get a lot of the contaminants out of the paint. Then you're going to need to use some sort of compound. In the old days it used to be called rubbing compound, but then at some point that was too harsh for some of the newer finishes. I'm going to use Meguiar's. I'm a pretty big fan of the Meguiar stuff. I'm sure all the other brands work reasonably well. I'm not sponsored by Meguiar's or anything like that, but it's just kind of the default brand I go to when in doubt. After you've compounded, which will take out, basically think of this as sort of like layers of sandpaper. If you were gonna, and this is not what they are equivalent to, but if you were doing wood, maybe this is like a 60 grit, 150 grit, and maybe like a 400 grit or something like that. So the compound is going to take off a certain amount of paint. Now it's probably actually equivalent to 4,000 or 5,000 grit sandpaper, so it's very easy compared to sandpaper, but it's going to take paint off. So for a police car, you're probably going to need to go ahead and do a pretty aggressive compound. If you have a car that you know has been well taken care of, you may not need to do much compounding. Polish is the next step, and that's a much finer cut, and that's supposedly also puts some of the oils back in the paint, helps it shine up. And then your wax step is sealing it, and hopefully also has some sort of UV protection to keep your paint from fading, keeps the dirt from sticking and so forth. So that's kind of the process. I'll show you just on a small panel here what it looks like in action. So the first step is the clay bar. You got to keep the surface below moist. I recommend using the Quick Detailer or something similar. Rub it over the surface, it'll pick up contaminants. If it starts grabbing, then you know you need more spray. And of course, normally you don't want to do this in direct sunlight. It's kind of the end of the day, so it's not quite as bad as if I was doing this at noon or something. Normally you want to do this in the shade if you can, but camera I can't really do that. You also want to look at your clay and just make sure that it's not picking up anything that's going to scratch the paint. If you've never done the clay bar on your paint, you'll be amazed at just how much the clay does just by itself. So the other thing you can do to keep your clay lasting longer is periodically kind of roll it around and reform it in your hand. You give it a fresh side against your paint. So after you've done your clay bar, give it a little spritz with a quick detailer and wipe it down. In my car I've already removed them, but a lot of times when you get these cars there'll be a lot of fingernail marks in here from just reaching in and grabbing the scratch. And it almost looks like someone took a pencil sometimes and just drew all over it. I have found that this works very well. Just basically get a little bit on a rag and just scrub it in there, and it'll usually clean that up so it looks brand new in there. Now if you have a power tool, a random orbital polisher or something, obviously that can make the job easier, but it can also make it a lot messier. For example, you get too much product on it and it starts flinging it all over. Sometimes it'll stain the trim and so forth. But the main reason I want to do this by hand was just to show you that it can be done by hand and you get really good results. So I just basically get some on the shop towel or terry cloth or microfiber towel, whatever you're using, and just rub it in. This product also will take those fingernail scratches off of here. So the trick is really don't let the product sit on there and dry. So I kind of have a wet side and a dry side. Use the dry side to wipe it down. So we're still getting a little drag there. But I think that's more due to needing wax than it is from not having enough compounding. And polish, just kind of the same thing, just rub it into the paint. And I always keep my prior steps handy because if you see that you missed a spot, you don't have to start a whole new pad. Over here I noticed there's 2 spots on the bottom that didn't come off. So then I'll go back over that with the polish. So the final step in this system is the ultimate liquid wax. For a lot of years this was the #1 rated by a quote-unquote consumer magazine, you can guess which one. So this is certainly a good alternative if you don't want to buy the whole system and you just want something like this. And this is also a great system for your in-between hardcore detailing. You just kind of use this to touch things up. But for this video, I'm going to go ahead and use this product. Usually a little wax goes a long way, so start with smaller amounts and then add more if you need it rather than starting with a big clump. And the last step is buffing with a clean microfiber towel. I'll tell you a little tip that I have discovered over the years: when you're buffing anything off of your car, it's a good idea to have 2 towels, one in each hand, and that way you can support yourself with the one while you're buffing with the other one, instead of putting your hand on your newly waxed car and leaving handprints everywhere. Since I'm doing just one door, I've only got 1 towel here. The last tip I'll give you is getting the wax off of areas that maybe not real easy to get off with just the towel. Use a soft toothbrush, or you can take a paintbrush and cut the bristles, and you see I've also taped it so the metal doesn't touch the paint. But it's good for getting this. Get the wax out of those areas. Alright, so it's supposed to rain all day today. Of course, we've had skies like that all day, and you see, as soon as I start waxing the door, it's a-coming. That's weather in Waco, Texas for you. And if you do come to visit the Magnolia silos, come find me. I'm within walking distance of them most days of the week. So there's the final product. I only did the rear door there, so of course to the camera and even to the naked eye it's probably not a whole lot difference, since I didn't start with this car completely rough. I've had it for a couple months now, so I've done a little bit here and there. But I can tell you, running the back of the hand test on it, it is slicker now on that door than it is in the surrounding panels. So, hope this video was helpful. If it was, appreciate a thumbs up, and let's get some more subscribers. Thank you.